Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Dance. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is Plan of Action Fitness. Hurry back and join us. Hi, I'm your host, Marsha Florence for Just Dance. Today's show, ladies and gentlemen, is Plan of Action Fitness. And we have the fitness expert himself, Julian Palm, medical exercise specialist. Good morning, Julian.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going?
Glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Thank you, thank you. Now, Julian, we have been on a search for some of the best exercise programs for our seniors and disabled persons. So you're on our quest for our fitness wellness program. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and Plan of Action Fitness?
Yes, my name is Julian Palm, and I'm owner of Plan of Action Fitness. I'm a medical exercise specialist, and as a medical exercise specialist, I'm that bridge between clinic and community. When the person's released from the medical world, where they had rehab or whatnot, then they want to get back in the general population. I'm that guy that has a little bit more expertise in how to get them prepared to be put back in general population.
Okay. So now, because you work with medical people themselves, do you work with a team and get referrals, or how do you get your clients?
Yeah, a lot of it is referral based, but I do have, typical people come to me want to get in shape. I still do general population as well, but with clinical exercise specialists, a lot of it is referral based, where someone might know someone that's been in need of special attention or special care. A lot of it involves seniors who are not necessarily in the gym setting, and loved ones or family members know that I have that skill set to show them how to get back to becoming more physically active.
Okay. So what is the oldest person you work with?
Currently, the oldest is someone that you'll see today, and I'm not going to say her age, but I'll let her say it if she wants.
Okay, but she's up there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, our show, Julian, more or less is dedicated to serving the disabled and the elderly, so we kind of got an idea, okay? But when you work with a person who is of an elderly nature, does it take you a long time to get them started, or are they prepared mentally and say, okay, well, what do I need to do?
All right. What people fail to recognize, they're not, seniors are similar to the general population when it involves becoming physically active. To put them all in the same box is kind of a bad move. Some of them are physically active beforehand, and I come in and enhance what they're doing or prevent them from their physical activity from declining. And then there are those who haven't been physically active for maybe decades.
So what's the active couch potato?
Well, active couch potato is, nowadays we understand we have requirements, physical activity requirements, or the minimum of 150 minutes a week of moderate activity or 75 minutes of vigorous activity. There are people that are actually doing that amount, but they're still not healthy. They still suffer from chronic diseases, and their fitness is actually declining. And that person that's an active couch potato is that person that's doing that, but they're still working a 9 to 5. They go home and watch TV, but they're still getting their hour of training or whatever, or less a day, but they're still too sedentary. All right? It's too sedentary, and not doing enough physical activity, or not eliminating their sedentary behavior.
Now, so for those who are in TV land watching us, when you say sedentary, that means they're sitting down too long.
Yeah, sitting down, if we're talking about the population that does not have what I like to call different abilities, if we're talking about that population that can walk around, that would mean they need to stay on their feet and do more movement. But then we have a population of people that have different abilities, and walking is not something that they're going to be able to do at the moment. So just moving, being physically active, picking up things, doing more activities of daily living, cleaning the house, instead of just sitting around the house, either sitting in a wheelchair or sitting on the couch, maybe go outside, go to the mall, roam around, do some things.
Well, a person in a wheelchair, if they're in the wheelchair, what kind of exercise would you refer?
Exercises that involve moving your major muscles, your back muscles, your chest muscles, your chest, your shoulders to enhance mobility since you're going to use it a lot. One of the exercises that I recommend is to do things that you're not doing all of the time, the things that are being neglected. And a lot of the times that would be your back. If you look at someone that's in a wheelchair, especially if they're using their hands
Have
to
upper body strength?
Yeah, they're using upper body strength, but it's usually going this way, which involves a lot of chest. They end up getting a kyphotic posture, which is the rounding of the shoulders, which most of us have when we're working at a desk all the time or driving or just slouching. That can be a problem. So what we'll do most of the time is working on our posterior chain, which is a lot of back exercises, working on the scapula and things of that nature, and also the core.
Okay. So what are the 3 strategies used for balancing?
Okay, there's 3 strategies that we naturally utilize. If you watch kids, if a kid were to stumble, there's 3 strategies that we'll use. That first strategy is usually the ankle strategy. Basically, the ankle strategy is if you had a slight push or perturbation from behind, you'll lean forward and your ankles will flex a little bit, and you'll regain your balance, your posture, by pushing off of the floor. And that involves ankle range of motion, and that also involves what they call plantar strength, plantar flexion strength, meaning basically calf raises and stuff like that, and strengthen yourself to be able to stand up. The second strategy would be the hip strategy, which involves moving your upper body forward and your lower body backwards. And
So, Julie, I do, normally our viewers are keying in to watch the program to see something new that they haven't done before or haven't heard before. And physical fitness is one of those things, like for couch potatoes, wheelchair users, a person who's aging or anything, want to know, does it take a lot of time to get a person physically started, to get the energy level up?
Not at all. What I would usually recommend is just eliminate sedentary behavior. Stop watching as much TV as you were used to watching. If you can find ways to get more active, go out in the community and do some more walking. Things like that would be very beneficial to start off.
Okay, now what if it's wintertime? We're in the 4th season, so in the wintertime, what would you recommend?
Go to the mall, walk around in the mall.
Okay.
Yep.
Go to the mall. Okay. All right.
Walk around the mall.
Okay. Now, do you have the concept for people that like to use, say, milk cartons or something while they're sitting down in front of the TV? So somebody wants to say, I want to watch my favorite program.
Yeah. If you want to watch your favorite program, there's some seated exercises you can do that we'll demonstrate later. You can do those while you're seated watching TV.
Okay. Okay, because I'm one of those. Okay, so I tell you what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with some more good information about physical fitness with Julian Palm. We'll be right back.
3 out of 4 kids are not as secure as they should be because their car seats are not used correctly. But the latch system makes it easier to get it right and to hold your kids tight. Anchor, tether, latch. Learn more at safercar.gov.
And welcome back to the second half of the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just not joining us, we have Julian Palms, who is the Plan of Action Fitness instructor. And who else do we have? One of his clients with us today, Margot Norris. Good morning, Margot.
Hello.
Glad to meet you.
Good to be here.
All right. Now, Margot, I know that you're one of the clients that Julian works with, so can you tell us a little bit about yourself, and do you mind telling us how old you are?
Yes. I'm 82 years old, and this fall I had a sense that I was having some balance issues, and I wanted to know what to do about it, and so I asked my daughter, and she said, you'll meet with Julian at 10 o'clock on Monday mornings.
Okay. Okay. So how long have you been working out with Julian?
Since October, I think.
Yes.
Is that right?
October of
Okay,
2016.
well, like 6 months or so, 6, 7 months. Okay,
And I
okay.
love it.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to meet you, and I'm glad to have you here. So, Julian, are you going to give us a demonstration of the type of
Yes.
fitness routine you work out with Margot?
Yes. Right now we're actually going to do some a quick warm up. That's what I totally recommend first is to do a quick warm up. So if Margot can stand up for the warm up, then we can do some exercises sitting down after we do some agility. With the warm up, usually we want to start with our neck a lot of times because that's where we're going to need to look around when we use our visual system. So if she can just do your neck rotation, good. And then I'll have her do some up and down, just to get her neck moving up and down. And then we'll do some lateral movements. Ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder.
Yeah, I don't do this so well.
So what
You
we're
do
doing is
great.
trying to get more mobility in those regions before we start doing our physical activity or more advanced movements. And then we can go into our marching. Real light marching at first. Good. And from there, we'll just do some shoulder rotations while we're marching. And again, usually most of these exercises, the warm-ups we'll usually do for about 10, 15 seconds, then go to a different warm-up activity. And ideally, our goal is to warm up the body parts that we're about to train. All right. If we have a long time, we'll do most of the body parts just to make sure everything's warmed up, ready to go. All right. So if we're going to start with our agility exercises, a lot of times we'll just start with a simple balance with a strong base of support. And Margot, if you can step up closer, good. All right. So 2 feet, we have strong, decent base of support, right? All right. And then I like my clients to get into a balanced challenge position. The balanced challenge position is that position right before you're in danger of falling, but it's still more comfortable than, it's not as comfortable as just relaxing or just standing comfortable. So she's nicely balanced. So what she can do is to make that more challenging is to go into a tandem stance where she'll basically put one, that will be considered more semi-tandem, and she's a little more challenged in this position.
You notice.
Now she can put that left foot right in front of the right foot.
Okay. So that's practically the routine that when you're being tested by the police for drunk driving.
That's what a lot of people assume.
Related to, okay.
Right. A lot of people assume that's what it is, but it's really giving her a small, narrow base of support. And it's helping her. We have 3 systems of balance, which is the somatosensory system, the vestibular system, and the vision system. All right, right here, we're more so touching into the somatosensory, getting her feet to recognize where they are in space, and her body to be aware of where they are in space. And then on top of that, from there, since she's managing to do that well, we'll give her an unstable surface.
Okay.
All right, but we don't want to just go right into the unstable surface that she was just, the small base support. We'll go back to a wider base of support. All right, so she'll go back to right foot right next to the left. And as you can notice, she's getting aware of how her proprioceptors in her body is going to respond to those shift in the movement. And then once she gets comfortable with that, if that's simple to her, we'll challenge it again, and we'll go back into our tandem stance, or then to a more advanced stance where it primarily be one foot at a time.
So this is to actually to help her with her balance. Okay.
Yes, this is to help her to balance.
Okay. And now what is this board called right here?
This is basically a pad. It's a foam pad. The popular variant would be considered Eric's pad. That's the given name, but this one is similar. Same idea. It's just an unstable surface. It takes
Unstable surface.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. It makes the balancing more challenging for the
Okay.
person. And then on top of that, we also have the vestibular system and also the vision system that needs to be tapped in. So we'll add in activities with a ball or something where you're cueing the eyes or the
Nice ball.
right. I like this one. The reason I like this one is because it has nice faces on it, and she can pick a face on there to keep her eyes on that particular face. And she had a
What did you
particular
want me to
face
do
she
with it?
liked. This one we're gonna do is basically a bounce
Okay.
and catch,
Okay.
and toss up and catch. This helps with her vision and also her vestibular. If you watch, her head is going up and down. Vestibular system is basically similar to that leveler where you had that ball in between on the levelers that the carpenter uses to keep balance or keep things level. That's same as the vestibular system. This also helps with her coordination as well.
Okay.
All right, so from there we have another movement we can use with the ball. I want you to find a face on there again, and this time we're going to do more of some more vision system and more vestibular system. And this time I want you to go around and pass it around and keep your eyes as much as you can on a particular face. Good. And as you notice, this also helps with her balance because it's helping her to it's cueing her eyes to work harder, and also her vestibular system, but also it helps with her shoulder mobility as well, if you notice.
So a lot of this, in particular, I'm looking at, children do this, and
Naturally.
and when they
Easily.
well, yeah, okay. Marco said, "Oh yes, easily," but they're being trained at the same level or the same way to have vision coordination.
Right, kids naturally do it. You know, understand? They when they go outside, even if they're bored, my kids, they're bored, they'll find a line and walk a line. You know, but we don't do that as we age. You know, we're sitting down a lot, we get weaker, so we need to work on our balance and get our things back in order so we can prevent falls. All right, so one more with the ball we're going to do is also, if you can use one of these chairs for support. That's another thing. If you're going to be working on your balance, make sure you have some sort of support, okay? You either have somebody with you or you either have a stable surface. Usually when I'm working with her, I'm here to help her. She might have a chair, but at home she's usually using her counter.
Okay.
And so she does these exercises on a daily basis. This one we're going to do is just basically, you're working on one leg, all right? And this is going to allow her to get familiar with the proprioceptors in her feet, allowing her to recognize the changes in her feet. So if someone has sensitivity issues, nerve issues in their feet, say for example somebody dealing with neuropathy, they can do an activity like this to bring more awareness of where their feet are in space.
Okay.
And
Now,
then,
how many? I didn't mean to interrupt, but how many repetitions do we do?
usually certain exercises are for time. This one I usually go for about 20 to 30 seconds. Just have her go back and forth 20, 30 seconds. A lot of exercises we do repetitions when it comes to the resistance exercises. But usually, if you want to do this, Margo?
Sure.
For the resistance exercises, we'll usually go with a resistance that will allow her to fatigue around 15 repetitions at the most. Once she can do that 15 repetitions, and as you notice, she moved her hand basically because it was too easy. And that's what you want to do is either go with a lighter assistance with the hand or just hover your hand around the support device.
So you got one finger, huh, Margot?
I tried.
Okay, okay. I see you, girl.
Great job. I mean, usually she'll do one side and go to the other side.
Okay.
But with the strength exercises, once they get to 15 repetitions and they can easily do it, then we need to challenge it by either making the resistance harder, slowing down the tempo or whatnot.
So, Margot, can you tell the difference from the time that you started with Julian to now?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
That's important.
Yeah, it's not. I'm sorry.
No.
It's not even the balance that we need to focus on, but also the confidence. All right. Once you become more confident that you're able to move, and that's what she came to me and she addressed when we first met. She wanted to be more confident. She hadn't had any major falls, but she started to feel less confident. So that made her become more sedentary. Even though she's an avid walker, she wanted to make sure she was confident enough to go out there and move around in the community like she wanted to.
Margot, how you feeling?
Fine.
Okay, so I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break, and we come back. You know, I'm going to try something. You didn't think I was dressed like this for nothing. Okay, we'll be right back.
It's your turn.
Yes, it is.
Movement. Along with weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Now, welcome back to the last half of the show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but you know what I always tell you. Every time you turn to Just Ask Talk Show, you should learn something. So, without further ado, you can always email me at Marsha@JustAskTalkShow or Twitter, hashtag, Facebook, all that good stuff, and call us 1-800-323-5336, 1-800-323-5336. Now, if you also want to meet a person like Julian or Julian himself, please drop us a line and we'll forward your information to him directly. If you are a person with a disability and you have an interest in learning some exercise routine, why not? Call Julian. We'll find out where he's at, and you can make an appointment to meet with him and see if you can get some exercises done for you. So without further ado, you know I'm dressed like this for a reason. Really? Okay. So Julian's gonna give me something to do, and Margot. So let's finish off with Margot.
Just keep moving.
Oh, just keep moving.
Okay.
That's true.
Well, Margot's working on some agility, and also this is going to help her with her balance, allowing her to be able to stay mobile in the real world on command without having to think about it. What I'm going to have you do, Marsha, is a leg press, utilizing the Swiss ball.
Okay.
All right, so let's go one leg at a time. If you're going to do this at home, make sure your chair is anchored to the wall or pushed against the wall because you're going to drive a lot of force back. All right, go ahead. She's going to go for 10. Ideally, you want to get at least close to extension. We don't want to lock out. Go ahead and push more and back. And if you have a bigger ball, you will get more range of motion. But for this purposes, she's getting a decent amount. You're going to feel this in your hips and also your quadriceps. And usually she'll go for about 10 to 15 on each side. And from there, we're going to also do another leg exercise or a hip exercise. This one is great for strengthening and stabilizing the hip.
Now, I didn't know if people could see this, so let's try this leg over here because I want to make sure that my viewers know. Okay, so Margot, I don't want to get in your shot, but I want our viewers to see what I'm doing here. Okay, so you guys get a shot of that. So I'm pushing out, right?
Yep, make sure your core is stable, and again, make sure that chair is stable behind you.
Okay.
And go back and forth. Breathe out as you press, and breathe in.
I can feel that.
Yeah. And you guys don't notice, but she's actually trying to keep herself stable by bracing her core, but it's really a hip and also a quadricep movement.
I feel that.
All right, so I'm going to have her doing some hip adduction, basically seated, basically squeezing the ball so she can stay just in that same position, but put the ball right between your knees and squeeze, hold for like 1 count, and then release. Now I'm going to do some more balance work with Margot. We're going to do our stop and go, okay? This is going to mimic what happens in the real world when you're out walking and you need to stop on command. All right, this is going to help her to be ready to stop. This involves a lot of power. It's not something that you'll notice by looking at it. Stop. But if you notice, she has to use this positioning, and her quadriceps have to stop her.
Okay.
And go. Stop. Go. And stop. Good. Let's go a little bit further. So let's go across this way.
Okay.
And go. Go ahead, Marsha. Squeeze. Stop.
Oh.
Make sure you squeeze in. And go. And stop. Great job. All right, so we want to be able to stop on command because it can save your life. All right, so if she's walking with her husband and he sees something that can cause her harm and he tells her to stop, one, she has to hear that command and able to respond. It's a reaction. Okay, she understands. All right, good. All right, Margot, if you can do our sit, we're going to do our squat. Oh, yes, do our squats and then we're going to do the toe taps, okay? So the sit to stand, the sit to stand. Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Now this ball, I mean, so I'm putting pressure on it. I feel my stomach going in. Who doesn't want a flat stomach? I feel my stomach going in, then I let it go.
Yep.
My stomach's still in. Okay, okay. Okay, now this is all hip rotation?
No, this is actually a hip adduction. You're basically working on those the adductors in your hip.
Okay.
All right, that helps with keeping the hips strong so you can move optimally when you're in the real world. You can move without your femurs and things going in the directions that it shouldn't when you trip and fall. Okay. All right, it allows
now, what
you
is
to
that
quickly make
Margot's
adjustments.
doing?
She's doing a typical squat, but she's using, you can consider that chair a target, allowing her to know where to aim her hips, but also it's for safety purposes as well.
So that's good for her knees and her hips?
That's good for her knees, her hips.
As long as I keep my feet apart.
Right.
If I do it like this, it really is tough on my knees.
Right, and that's what we discussed when Margot first started. She had what you call a vagus knee movement, which is basically she'll come up and drive her knees forward. That's one thing you do want to watch out. You want to watch out for that because that's can mess up the knees, okay? It's a bad alignment. All right, we're going to do the opposite of that for you. We're going to do some abduction, okay? So what I'm gonna do is wrap this band around your knees. You can stay seated.
Okay.
Wrap this around, and you're just gonna keep your feet anchored to the ground like you have them, and drive your knees out.
Drive my knees out.
And hold it for like a 1 count, and then bring it back slow.
Okay, let's drive my knees out.
Push out. Yep, push as far as you can, and come back slow. Good.
Hold him out.
There we go. And a lot of times you can count 2 seconds. 1, 2, 1, 2, and out. 1, 2. Great.
Now, what does this actually do?
This is work at the glutes. It works the glutes medius especially, but it also helps with stabilizing the hips in general.
Right. And keep your feet flat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Hey, Margot, we can come right over here. This one is good for ankle mobility and also for function of the ankle, and also it's good for the knees as well. So she's going to reach for here, to the right side, and then to the back, and just see if she can come back without touching in the middle. All right?
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, let's go, Margot.
You got it. And if balance is an issue, or if you're a little fatigued, just like she's doing, that's perfect. But the goal is to tap. You either come back to midline, tap the next one, come back to midline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then we can use the opposite leg. No, don't worry about that one for now. We'll go to the opposite.
I wasn't worrying. I was just doing it.
Margot says she got this.
Right.
Okay. 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 I'm
Yeah.
proud of Margot. Okay.
Indeed.
I'm proud of Margot. Okay. Well, you know what, Margot, I'm very impressed with you, and not just because you're exercising, but of your age and your ability to exercise as well as you are. There's going to be a lot of seniors watching this program, and so we thank you. We thank you for sharing your exercise routine with us.
I
Okay.
love doing it.
Thank you. Okay, I just worked out. Okay. Okay, so now, ideally, Julian, I know that, what we like is to know that if people are interested in learning to do exercises such as what you're doing with Margot, you can work with the seniors and disabled population.
Oh, yes. Seniors, disabled, general population
And the general
as well.
population.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I have quite a bit of knowledge on working with people with disabilities that need assistance.
Okay. Okay, so we have to keep that in mind. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, you can always give us a call at 1-800-323-5336, Twitter, hashtag, Facebook, all that good stuff, and reach out to us. And if you want to get in contact with Julian Palms, he will be available. So you can always just look us up, and we'll pass the word on to him. Don't be a couch potato. Start doing some form of exercise. Do something to keep your heart rate up, as well as watch out for your nutritional balances. And you never know, you might even get your blood pressure back in order, okay? Hypertension kills. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Margot Norris. Thank you so much for coming, okay? And Julian, will you come back and join us again?
Most definitely.
All right. I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. I had a workout. I really did. I won't have another one. Okay, I'm your host, Marsha Florence with Just Ask. And what do I always say? If you know a person with a disability, or if you just have a general question, don't be afraid to ask. Just ask. I'm your host. Thank you.